to live stream.
Yeah.
Five, four, three, two, one. Okay, we are live in YouTube now. So participants who have their friends who's not able to join this particular session, you may actually ask them to go into our Nexus A's website. Okay, welcome again to all the participants. I believe we have a lot of participants coming from various industries, and also we have participants coming from higher universities, colleges. Okay, we have Lincoln University College, we have AMU, Asia Metropolitan University, okay, and also from University from Bangalore, India. Right, so welcome to all of you. I'm going to be moderating this session. My name is Dr. Chandiran. I'm basically attached with Nexus A's. So while waiting for panelists to come in, yeah, okay, we have good evening, Mr. Leslie.
Good evening, Dr. Chandrika and fellow panelists.
Welcome to all the panelists. So just for your information, Mr. Leslie, we just went on YouTube. So everybody is basically watching from YouTube, and also those participants who enroll in Zoom. Okay, so we'll be starting our session in a short while. Okay, our tentative starting time is basically at 5. So we'll be starting in a short while. So while waiting for this webinar to start, you may actually try out our pool. Okay, I've just launched the pool, right? There's around 8 questions where you can look into it and try to answer the questions. Okay, it's all about technology related to HR, right? So it doesn't matter if you're not from HR fraternity, you can be coming from other areas of your industry, but you can still answer those questions because it's quite general and it's relevant for everyone. All right, so don't worry, the questions are not that tough. You should be able to answer it. Okay, welcome back to all the participants and also to panelists. Okay, participants, you may answer our pool here. Okay, so basically what we are looking at, okay, let me just share with you. It's quite interesting statistic here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Okay, so I hope all of you can see my screen here. Okay, so this is basically I'm sharing the results, okay, of our pool so far, right? So question number 1, does your organization have a formal HR technology strategy? So we have around 40% answered yes, 60% says no. And we have our second question. Okay, second question is, what percentage of your HR budget is dedicated to HR technology? Okay, this is a very interesting question. So we have 40%, now 50% says yes. Okay, I mean, there is 50% says yes, there's a percentage allocated. 33% also says, okay, there's a budget allocated. 14%, okay, says yes, and 0%, okay, says no. So most of the companies are basically allocating their budget to HR technology. Yeah, so that's good news actually. And let us see question number 3. Question number 3 is, what are your key focus areas for technology improvement? Okay, so many says talent management. Okay, 86% says talent management, 43% says learning and development, 29% says people analytics. Okay, not bad. And 29% says employee engagement, 71% says employee well-being. Okay, so this well-being actually sits number 2 after talent management. And we also have recruitment. Okay, recruitment sits equally with talent management. All right. So and finally onboarding, okay, 29%. So we can see that many companies are basically giving focus on talent management, employee well-being, recruitment. Okay, of course the highest is basically talent management and recruitment. Let us see question number 4. Question number 4, are you currently using artificial intelligence in any of your processes? Okay, so there's an option of learning and development. Okay, we have around 14%, employee self-service 14%, talent management 14%, recruitment 29%. Okay, and chatbots 0. Okay, that is surprising. Not using AI at all, 57%. Okay, so I think we have something to talk about today. Okay, not using AI at all. Okay, number 5. Question number 5, are you currently using or planning to use the following? Cloud-based HR solution, 71% says yes. In county private cloud solution, 0. 14% says on-premise solution, 14% any of the above. Okay, so not so bad. And number 6, question number 6, is your company using or planning to use analytics for people function? So not using people analytics, 57% says not using. Okay, plan to use people analytics in the future, we have 29%. Currently using people analytics, 14%. So many of the companies not using people analytics yet. Right? So again, this is basically a survey from the participants who present today. Okay, so it might not be giving a real number, but we are just getting some a small number to actually see. Yeah? And we also have question number 7. According to what is the most trending technology for human resources? So what is the most trending technology? Artificial intelligence, 22%. Machine learning, 0. Mobile apps, 33%. Cloud and SaaS, 0%. Wearable technology, 0%. Internet of Things, 0%. Learning management system and e-learning, 44%. Yeah, especially during this period of time, I'm sure that many companies are investing into learning management system, which is very helpful during COVID-19. Okay, we have question number 8. Okay, the last question. Are you looking to implement some kind of technology for your HR functions in the next 12 to 18 months? So many says yes. Okay, so 56% says yes, 44% says no. Right, so this is okay, an interesting data that we are getting here, right? Okay, while having this pool running, so we will let it to run. Okay, we should start our webinar. Okay, it's already 5. So let me welcome again to all the panelists. Okay, Mr. Sai, Mr. Leslie, and also we have Mr. Muhammad Najib Yahya. Right, so I'll introduce them in a short while. Okay, but before that, I must say thank you to, of course, the organizer is Nexus Ace, and we have the co-organizers, Trend Tech Services, and also not to forget our Lincoln University College. So they are basically our co-organizers. And we also saying thank you to MIHRM, Malaysian Institute of Human Resource Management, okay, to Veritas University College, and also to Pillar, okay, who are basically contributing. Okay, these 3 organizations is basically contributing to our webinar today, yeah, right? So thank you again. So let me just introduce our panelists today. Are you all ready? All the panelists?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm going to introduce our panelists today. They are all senior person in the industry and also in the academic. So let me just share the screen. Okay, this is basically Mr. Muhammad Najib Yahya is our first panelist, right? He's basically the managing director for Pillar Consultancy. Of course, he's also a director for Agency Pekerjaan Pillar Workforce Solutions. He's also managing director for MNY Pillar Automotive. He's currently the director of VX Garage, managing partner Visual Solutions. He was actually with VX Garage as a director, managing partner Visual Solutions, senior business partner till now, starting from 2018 until now, which is attached to Malaysian Institute of Human Resource Management. And he was with FGV Holdings Berhad as Chief Human Resource Officer. Okay, for your information, Chief Human Resource Officer is basically the highest level, okay, in terms of ranking, the highest level in human resource levels. And we have regional head of, okay, we have another portfolio is basically as a regional head of human capital, Maybank, Kim Ang and overseas unit from 2012 to 2014, attached with Maybank. Maybank. And he's also, he was attached with Al Raji Bank Malaysia from 2006 to 2012 as a director of human resources. And he was also attached with Saim Dabi Berhad as a group head rewards and employee relations from 2004 to 2006. And he was also with the Standard Chartered Bank, okay, as a senior manager, employee relations and benefits administration. Okay, so, and last but not least, okay, so this is basically something which is really make me excited. He was with Malaysian Armed Forces from 1983 to 1997. Okay, he have served Malaysian Armed Forces. Thank you very much, Chinajit, for you to participate as a panelist for this particular webinar. Thank you very much for coming.
You are welcome.
Okay, our next panelist is Mr. Leslie Lim. Okay, I believe that if you are in the HR fraternity or if you are in the HR areas, you definitely know Mr. Leslie. Okay, he's basically the current Honorable General Secretary of Malaysian Institute of Human Resource Management. He was with the group HR, he was with the Naga World Cambodia as a group HR director. He was with INTI group as a HR director, where I was also from INTI last time. Okay, so I'm not sure whether we have met or not, Mr. Leslie, but this is one of, I would say, a big portfolio in INTI group. And he was also attached with FMM Environment Chairman. Oh, he was attached with the FMM, okay, FMM as chairman. Okay, and this is basically at Perak, okay, FMM at Perak from 1998 till 2003. Okay, I hope I did not make any mistakes. Right, so these are basically portfolio to for Mr. Leslie. Thank you very much, Mr. Leslie, for you to participate in this webinar. Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome, Doctor.
And we also have, last but not least, okay, our last panelist, Mr. Venkata Venugopal Rao Goodlow, or you can call him as Mr. Sai. We used to call him as Mr. Sai. Okay, he's currently taking his PhD, okay, in the computer field. So currently he's attached with Veritas University College as head of school digital transformation. He was with Putra Intellect International College as program leader and senior IT lecturer. He was with C&G Solutions as IT project manager. He was also a consultant, SAP consultant with Maxis, Malaysia, Siemens, Nixdorf Information Systems, Singapore, and last but not least, he was with Megasoft Systems Incorporation as SAP consultant as well. Welcome, Mr. Venkata.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. I better call you as Mr. Sai.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. Welcome, Mr. Sai, and welcome to all the other panelists, Mr. Leslie and also Mr. Najib. Okay, for this webinar, okay, we are focusing on technology. So let us look back at our title, Technology's Continuous Influences and Impact on HR. Okay, many of my friends and also some of our peers were actually asking how technology can be very important for HR. Okay, because we used to see HR as human, okay, something to do with human, and technology is something to do with machine. Okay, so how this machine is going to be relevant with the HR. Okay, but this is not something new. Okay, it is happening. It is happening, and it has been happening for many years. But maybe in terms of the visibility, okay, the visibility or the impact is not that significant. Okay, but let me tell you, another 5 years or 10 years from now, okay, if you are not being equipped with the knowledge of HR technology, you might be outdated in your organization. So it is that important, right? So I don't like to be the panelist today, so I better leave it to the panelists. I think they can actually share more information with the knowledge and skill that they have, right? So let us pose some questions. Actually, I'm having some questions, okay, for three of you. Yeah, three of you. Okay, I'm having some questions. So let me just ask the first question. Let me share with you the questions that I've actually prepared. Okay, the first question is, what is the background of HR? Okay, from the traditional approach to the current practice and the future. Right, so perhaps maybe we can start off with Mr. Leslie. Maybe you can share with us, what do you think about the changes, okay, from maybe from 20 years back, now and also in the future, how HR are going to be influenced by technology? I leave it to you, Mr. Leslie.
Thank you, Doctor. So a very good day to everyone, all Malaysians, as well as our viewers internationally, especially from India. But essentially, HR started as personnel management back in the 70s and 80s. Personnel management then was essentially um, hire and fire, what do you call it, training, payroll, and security. It was a very mundane admin skills type. So I could recall how technology came in was in the late 80s. In the late 80s, we what do you call had the first HRS system here in Malaysia. So it actually revolutionized our payroll system. So just before that, what called payroll was done very mundanely. You had the punch card systems, then you had the payroll clerks and supervisors literally counting manually what the earnings and so forth of the employees. Then security guards have to also be employed because at the end of the month, payroll or mid-month, payroll will be given to the workers, and the workers would actually be given envelopes of cash, and they have to count and to sign off that it's true and correct. So it was a very tedious task. So this is where technology comes in. Technology through HRIS, essentially the employees use barcode system, they clock in, the system actually has been programmed with parameters of how payroll should be counted, and it made life very simple. So by the 1990s, payroll was essentially a what you call day-to-day accepted practice here in Malaysia and also in many Asian countries. So what happened was 1990s was a continuation of HR, what you call technology, and then actually when I started doing my regional roles, I was based in Indonesia, Singapore, and Cambodia at the turn of the century onwards. So we had to embrace technology. So you see, a lot of HR practitioners, what they do is even now, some HR professionals still submit their proposals or their reports in a booklet form to the CEOs and the CFOs. The CEOs or managing directors, ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't have time to read your reports. So even then, 15, 20 years back, when I was doing regional roles, I used to present it in PowerPoint form using technology. And I presented like an accountant, because the CEO MD's role or the business owners, they have limited time with HR and also other department heads. So what I did was a PowerPoint presentation straight to the point, backed up by facts and figures. And if the MD or the owners wanted to double check, I would have all the figures ready to support me. So, and then usually after the year 2000, I also use a lot of HR analytics and big data. So at the end of the day, management would actually look, okay, what's the ROI, what's the ROE on what you call on my investments? So HR's report shouldn't just be all the normal, say, day of the meal data like MC rate, absenteeism. Yes, it's important. But what's important, ladies and gentlemen, is the impact onto the into the pockets of the organization. So you have to do costings, and this is where HR actually can shine. If you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, why it's a fact even right now. When the senior management meetings, why does the accountant or the CFOs get the limelight? They are very smart people. They get data from HR over time and so forth. And for example, operations, all your industrial output. They also get what you call from marketing, what the sales and so forth, purchasing, all that. So they put all the data into they have their own templates and present it to the CEOs and MDs. HR can actually do that. So I would actually urge HR professionals right now, it's not too late. Please use analytics and big data. Of course, we have limited time on this. Most of you might be using it already. So technology, and now what we have done is even 10 years ago, around 2009, 2010, even for recruitment, ladies and gentlemen, the larger companies, SMEs, maybe now some have been able to afford it. When you do recruitment, the applicants apply online. So the software would essentially, have all the parameters set in. So the software program would shortlist, for the management. And then the management say, okay, out of a few hundred applicants, I want the 20 best applicants. So if the deadline, for example, is today, tomorrow morning, 20 shortlisted applicants will be ready for senior management to proceed to carry on the next stage of recruitment. So AI and is making a big impact. In fact, a lot in Malaysia, there are few companies right now who actually employ robots to do recruitment. So they will do all the filtration, and then the final selection will be done by the CEOs and the managing directors. And very important is, in my humble opinion, technology, Mr. Sai will actually go into it in greater detail as far as IoT and so forth.
Right.
What's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? HR professionals, we have to embrace IoT and AI and robotics. Why?
Exactly.
Because if we don't embrace it, actually a lot of jobs have already been lost. Not in HR. You go to if you're in Europe, you go to Europe, the cashiers are gone.
Yeah.
You self-pay. You go to the airports, you check in by yourself. It's a worldwide phenomena, and especially now with the COVID, more and more jobs will be lost. But do not panic, and let your curiosity be your best teacher. Find out what's AI, what's robotics, how does it affect your profession, embrace it, and HR's role in the next few years will not be, yes, operational HR is important, yes, strategic HR is important. But very important is HR's role will be going as a HR business partner. This is where HR professionals will act as being business partners, as advisors to the C-suite, to the CEOs, to the CFOs, because your decisions, your analytics and your data will help the senior management make strong and viable business decisions based on your inputs. So this is where I personally feel HR has a great future, but definitely with a large element of IR 4.0. So perhaps just leave it at this stage, Doctor, and let the other panelists come in. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leslie. Thank you very much. So I think what you have mentioned is basically it's an eye opener for many of them out there. I'm sure that both practitioners and, in fact, future employees are very much aware that things are basically changing, and if they don't change, I think they will be some or other will be left out. Okay, in the industry. Okay, so we have actually looked into the development of this technology in HR in terms of practitioners' world. But how about in education? So you see, we need to make sure that there's a balance between education and also industry. Okay, in terms of leveraging this technology in HR. So if we have the practice, but we don't have universities who's actually encouraging all this happening, So it is also not a good, I would say, a good flow or a good process eventually. So maybe Mr. Sai,
Yeah,
you are currently, yeah, maybe you
yeah,
can just give your opinion.
yeah. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Doctor. Thanks, Leslie. You really highlighted very important points here, especially industry IR 4.0 and also IoT. When I look at participants when they're not, looking into IoT based, and they're very keen into AI and other. And when I look at the budget, percentage of the budget they're looking, I mean, they're ready to spend. In future is going to be, sensor technology. You all has to understand this. So how is going to give impact in terms of education? Doctor has asked a question in terms of usability. Okay, so when we talk about digitalization, we are constantly moving with connected network, which is like we have wearable mobile devices. How these devices been enhanced. If you look at it, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. Now we already talking about 5G. So I would like to ask everyone. So do anyone has been have gone through any training for this? No, not at all. It's like a user friendly. You just start using the technology. We are the users of technology. We are not creating any new technology here. We are using it. As long as you are using it, you understand how it can give impact in HR and also whole process in organization. That's good enough. And you can have 100% results oriented within a few seconds, even using a data analytics and big data AI into the in advance. For
So, Mr. Sai,
example,
so sorry to interrupt you. So, in varsities,
yeah.
how is the how this IT is being leveraged? Are there proper courses being given to the students, which is relevant to all these
Yes,
analytics and so on? So,
yes.
how much universities are putting their effort actually?
If you ask me this question, yes, most of the universities are doing that, especially when we are now going through a pandemic. 100% is, if you ask me, that not 99%. Everyone would like to go online learning and teaching experience, and also they want to go ahead and understand that what do you mean by the digitalization, why we require in place, because everyone has to go online classes and there are tutorials, and they need to know understand the technology, how it's going to give impact to the future, and it's become a part of their curriculum. So in future, I'm sure the people already, they're already planning it, what we call it as 2020 and 2025 and 2030. So now they started implementing in advance because of the pandemic, because now things are moving, making us to move very faster than what we planned earlier. So this is how most of the institutions and students are also well prepared for that. You won't believe most of the students, even they can log in classes mobile based. So this is how flexible the teaching and learning is taking place. So the technology in place, they already on the edge of learning as they go on daily life. It's a part of it. For example, like no one cannot survive or maybe without their mobile phone. Everyone has to chat, everyone has to go ahead with music, and everyone has to go ahead with YouTube and communication channels. They have their own, and Facebook. So similar to that, the technology is making them to also understand, like a digital library, going online and accessing things, and understanding how technology is working for them, and coming up their own TikToks, and they have their own videos. They can create their own videos and upload to the stream. So this is how who is giving them knowledge on this. So no one else. I mean, it's like the application itself is teaching them, and it's become a part of it. So when it's become a part of it, and people are living with that. So now everyone is asking, I mean, talking about the new technology, new phones, and 5G, how they're going to use it. And every 6 months, in the phone industry, if you look at Samsung or iPhone, they're upgrading the new versions, and they know everything about it, how the processor works, how the cloud-based, connectivity, how they can go ahead with understand in the information, and also news channels. So everything that have been happening there.
I think our students are very much, in fact,
Exactly.
they are much more advanced compared to
Much more
even me and
advanced.
you. They're
And
much more
you all,
advanced.
I mean,
Yeah,
you all should also look into one
yeah,
factor is they don't require much training facilities.
correct.
It's like how user friendly.
Yeah.
Even the IoT is going to be user friendly in future. You don't require it all. For example, now in the airports, you
Yeah.
have the scanner, now QR codes. You scan the QR code, your details will be stored into HR system, or sorry, healthcare system. And every day healthcare bulletin they're releasing at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock evening, they are doing a data analytics. So this is
Okay.
how they are doing it.
Uh, yeah, that's great. Then we have a
Thank you.
question. Okay, sorry to stop you. We have a question here from Dr. Hari Krishnan. How HR can perform strategic partners role towards organization? I think this will be covered by Mr. Najid in a short while. So let us, thank you very much, Mr. Sai. Let's go into the
Thank you,
second
doctor.
question.
Thank you,
Let us
doctor.
go for the second question. So the second question that I'm posting here is basically, what are current technology which is being used in HR and how it changes the function or current practice of HR? So I think the best person to actually answer this question will be Mr. Najib.
Thank you, Doctor,
To you, Mr. Najib.
and very good
Yeah.
evening to all participants. Talking about technology, I think today, I believe most of the company will have some kind of technology in place, especially in the HR. If they don't have one, so directly they are left behind. So somehow or other, how big or small your company, you would be using some kind of technology. But we need to understand what is the purpose of having technology. So it's getting connected. It's basically, you want to connect between the employer to and an employee by having a tool. And of course, not only having the tool, the right tool, but also to take over some of the non-essential processes or non-value added expenses, especially in HR, the administrative work that burden them last time. And those days, everything is done manually, but with the system, it will speed up the turnaround time. I think that is what people are looking at. And of course, we are talking about all the analytics, AI, and things like that. So there are many systems out there in the market, and I mean, it's just a brand name, but the function is more or less the same with the same objective of connecting people. So you can have all the module in HR. Now you can have a full-fledged HR system, starting from the recruitment, from employee or the candidate, submitting their CVs through online, and the system will, shortlisted the qualified candidate for interview process. Everything is done online. In fact, issuance a letter of appointment also by pressing of button, it can be done, without having people intervention. Now people are talking about the robotic, system, all those things. So what system that people use, there's a lot of system in place. I think what more important, we have to understand having a system alone is not good enough. But the HR system should not take away of the personal touch, because if you rely so much on the system, then what is missing will be the man-to-man, face-to-face kind of interaction that should continue. I've seen in some organization when they're using system for performance management, for example, there are managers who didn't even talk to their employee or to their direct report, but relying on the system. They communicate everything on system. Even, yes, the system have got all the functionality, but that should not be the way going forward. You still need to have a man-to-man or face-to-face kind of interaction.
So,
I think
so there must be some partiality between technology and also human.
correct.
Not 100% human, 100% technology.
I totally agree. The tool, the technology will assist in maybe speed up certain processes. technology will, take away some of the more boring kind of things that HR is not supposed to be doing. The HR is supposed to be like what Mr. Leslie said, acting like a business partner. We should go more on the ground, meeting the people. I think that should not be something missing. The HR function initially is,
Mr. Najid, are you still there? I think he's.
Yeah. Wi-Fi connection.
I think he's. Mr. Najid.
Yeah, I think it's a connection problem, I believe, from Najid's side.
Okay, no problem. I think we can maybe we. Okay, he's here. Yeah, Mr. Najid. You're disconnected for a while. Yeah.
Oh, it was disconnected. I saw something. Somebody posed a question here. All right.
Oh, okay.
So it's raining heavily in my house at the moment. So maybe the line, is not that stable. So anyway,
true.
So talking about the strategy of having taken by the companies. I think companies surely will have some kind of system in place already. But having a system in place, but making sure that whatever HR processes from your recruitment until employee exit, meaning that your development program. Now people talking about e-learning, especially during the COVID-19. A lot of training cannot be done physically, but we cannot say because of COVID no training to be done. It has to be, this is something that need to be continuously done. And we can always do online training. There's application like Zoom, MS Team that can support all kind of training and development. Performance management is a good tool to have in system where you will capture and you can also go through the previous performance record for the last many years. If not last time, every time when you have to file, tick in the doing manual, then whenever you want to dig the record, you have to find the file. But now system allow by a click of button, you can see the performance record of an employee. So a lot of decision making can be done easily while having good system in place. So I mean, to me, especially for SME and MNC, it's not an answer to say that we don't want to spend money for technology, because maybe I have the privilege, after I left the armed forces, I joined a company. It's a MNC, Standard Chartered Bank, for example. That is my first company, and they spend a lot of money in technology. And I remember during Y2K, year 2000, everybody, the IT people is saying that, there's something going to happen to the system, and everybody start to invest in new machine, new system, whatnot. But I think a lot of companies invested in that. And then I have also the opportunity when I was appointed as Director of HR of Al Rajhi Bank. At that time, Al Rajhi wanted to come to Malaysia. And then we have the opportunity to choose what is the best system at that point in time to put in place, not only for the HR system, but also for the banking system. So everybody is trying to get the best system in place. But unfortunately, because of the technology moves so fast, so great, whatever you have maybe 10 years ago, maybe already obsolete. So the HR people also, whatever system that you have at that time, you need to keep pace with the current changes on the evolution of technology. You need to, the way you do things, also need to be updated. You need to keep pace to whatever changes in the technology so that you don't left behind. That's what I can say.
So when we're talking about technology, I can see that from your explanation, Mr. Najid, I can see that in terms of technology itself, it's actually evolving. Okay, the technology that you are using maybe 5 years or 10 years back in HR, and also the one that you're supposed to use, so that you are very much par with the other organization and also par with international organizations, so that your communication and also your organization process flow will be much effective and efficient, right?
Yeah.
So we need to ensure that our HR technology are basically current and not outdated.
Yes, current, but we have to be realistic in a way that, we in HR or the management should not be that gung ho, or, we want to have the best. But in realistically, we have to measure the ability of our people, depending on industry. If you are a highly technology driven company, then by all means you need to have the best system in place, because your people can cope up very easy. But if you are working in some kind of environment or industry like plantation, for example, when I was in FGV, yes, we want to have a very changi or advanced technology,
Sophisticated, yeah.
but in reality, I mean, those estates, especially in the rural area, because of the connectivity, the internet is not there. So having a system, but not making sure that it's not full use, it's making full use by the employee also is not. You are spending money, but we have to make sure that everybody make full use of it before you start to change to a new system.
I think I agree with you, because I remember that in 1998, during the Commonwealth Games, we had the first LRT station. We had this system in place, but then many employees need to be trained. Okay, they are not ready, but due to these Commonwealth Games, and also, of course, government want to make sure that there's a very effective system in place. They have actually come up with a system. So I believe that I think when we have a sophisticated system in place, we have to ensure that all our employees are also equally trained.
Yes, true.
Doctor, I would like to say here something. It's
Yeah,
not
Mr.
only
Sai.
training. They need to set their mindset to adopt whatever changes happening in technology. For example, I'll give you a very simple example is how we are moving from 2G to 3G. Are we being trained? No one has been trained. When we are using 3G to 4G and 5G, we are talking a smartphone. Somebody is, if you someone is going to get a gift from iPhone, do he is going through any training session for iPhone how he can use the apps? Not at all. He has to go through himself. He download, he will go through here, he will go there. Why in HR systems, of course, even though we provide training, sometimes they don't want to look into very seriously. So this is one of the biggest question,
Maybe, yeah, Mr. Najib, you like to add on?
Yeah, I think you're talking about strategy, going forward,
Yes.
as a HR practitioner. I mean, first we need to assess the capability of our people. Of course, technology is there, but whether our people are ready. So if they are not ready, then we need to train them.
Yes.
Then, of course, we need to have the infrastructure in place so that when, you put a system in an estate, but without having a connectivity, internet, things like that, then is no point also. So all these things must come together. But today, in today's current world, I believe everybody, will carry a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Be it, an estate
Yes.
workers also. No, everybody will carry a. It's best to look into a new technology called mobile apps, and
Yes.
anything that you can connect. The important is to connect to the employee. So having a system on the PC, not everybody in the company, especially a big company, will have access to a PC. Maybe a manager or executive and above will have a PC, but people on the ground sometimes they don't have even an email address, because by nature of their work they don't need that email address. They
Yes.
don't need to be connected. What they need is, when they need to apply leave, they go to the office and say, "Sir, I need to apply my leave." Then the clerk in the office will key in, whatever the leave application online still to capture the record. If they want to submit their claim, they come to the office and say, "I need to submit this claim." But that will continue to happen, because no point giving everybody a laptop when the nature of work doesn't permit them, or not necessary to have a laptop. But
Exactly.
surely everybody have a mobile phone. So why not we try to invest something that people can get connected, teach them how to submit their claim form, their leave application online using mobile phone. Then everybody, and I think people without good qualification, nowadays, with a handphone, it's self-learning. I think they can easily learn
Exactly.
and adapt to the
Yes.
system anytime.
Yes,
As
Najid, I
doctor,
really totally
doctor,
agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Leslie.
sorry, gentlemen. Okay, let's like to add on to what Mr. Sai and Mr. Najib mentioned.
Okay.
Okay, hardware and software on technology is extremely important. But equally important, in my opinion, or am I sharing my opinion, is the individual. Essentially, what you call the mindset. So we have to, as HR professionals or any professionals, we have to, what I call a paradigm shift. What we are used to accustomed to our normal working life, we have to change with the times. We have to embrace technology. Even now we're talking about IR 4.0, great. AI, robotics, IoT, and so forth. But in Germany and Japan today, they have a IR 5.0.
Yes.
Essentially, 5.0
Yeah.
means machines or robots working together with human beings,
Human beings.
coexisting
Using
together.
IoT-based sensors. Yes.
Yes, sir. You're
Yeah.
right. So we have to bring ourselves up to speed, embrace IR 4.0, and then move on. Us as a country, Asian country, will be left behind the Western powers.
I
So I don't
think
know,
I
Mr.
think
Sai.
I agree, Leslie, and even Najid. As time goes on, how we are adopting ourselves, looking at the Western and other countries, I'm sure we will adopt ourselves. I'm sure we are already adopting such a level and where we already understand how it works. Obviously, we need to go ahead with that, as Inche Najid has explained about. A mobile based, if as per latest analytics by the big five firms and the big four firms has been done conducted survey, they have mentioned that cloud based mobile cloud is going to be a future, which is going to be 40 to 50%. People agree in that. So investment is going to be boom up in that, and security in cyber security level and IoT based is a 5 or 7%, which is going to be total 60 to 70% is going to be in mobile based. So as Inche Nazid and Inche Leslie has explained about future is going to be mobile based. Why can't we have a more mobile based and more user friendly atmosphere where they can have insurance, where they can just click if they are not well, go to the clinic, just show that, and the immediately HR will be updated, and they will get the records, and they know exactly what happened to the patient, and they have the list of how many sick leaves has been taken and deducted, and whether contract permanent, everything will be calculated.
That's
And
interesting.
yeah, it has
Very
been
interesting.
there already.
And
So
also just to add on,
yeah.
even in one or two countries like Sweden, they what they call insert mini microchips into your skin.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. Yes, mini
Wrist.
microchips.
I
Yes.
saw that in LinkedIn actually.
Yes,
So
it's been
so
there because they can monitor your movements. Where are you in exactly? Which clinic are you in? Whether you are taking rest in the house or not. They have their own to tracking system, which is nothing but it.
so Mr. Leslie, what do you think the companies should do now? I mean, how are they going to leverage this technology in their organization towards HR, especially our SMEs? Maybe you can
Okay,
just
yeah, doctor. First and foremost, actually the SMEs should try to lobby to get some kind of budget or grant from the government. Essentially, in the area of digitalization, you have to digitalize your records. A lot of SMEs form what we call almost 99% of companies. They employ 70% of the workforce, and they contribute about 38% to GDP. So these are statistics which a lot of citizens are not aware of. They are very important. The only trouble is they don't have deep pockets or resources of the MNCs or the GLCs or government bodies. So funding is a very important area. And actually what they could, there are some free packages on the web, where you can actually download and do some what you call basic forms of digitalization. You have to because at the end also what you call what you call analysis, all that can be done. So because at the end, even as SMEs, the management have to make business decisions. So digitalization it would be a good starting point. Doctor, back to you.
Thanks, Mr. Leslie.
Exactly. I can see some of them is posting a question and how will be the e-learning platforms with of the self module will be relevant today. You know,
Okay,
I think,
maybe this part I could add in if you don't mind.
yeah, please.
Okay, at MIHRM, we used virtually those days pre-COVID-19. All our lectures were all classrooms, face to face. But now with COVID and all the SOPs on social distancing and so forth, we have to change, even MIHRM, we have to change our business model. So we're going on to e-learning. So we have derived quite a lot of revenue. For example, like recently, Mr. Ari, our president, has spearheaded our certified HR programs for Nila University. He took the lead, and now as we speak, next month in November, we're going to start e-learning programs for UniKL, University Kuala Lumpur. So these are areas we have to reinvent ourselves. If we stay back, we use methods which serve us well last 30, 40 years, we won't survive. So we have to be innovation. Innovation, personally, I feel it's a topic for another day. Very interesting topic, Doctor.
I think in universities they have no choice because that's the core of processes. I mean, they have to force themselves to invest in LMS, certain technology so that they can actually communicate the knowledge and skill to the students. But how about in the industry, Ajit? Because I think I'm very much interested on what is happening in the industry in terms of this training and so on. Because because of this MCO and so on. There's always a disruption in learning process, training, and so on. So, how industry people is actually overcoming these issues?
I think what MIHRM is doing earlier before COVID-19, because my company also conduct trainings, all the soft skill and HR trainings, and just because of the COVID, most of the training has been postponed. And earlier on, they postponed, and we are not sure the MCO will end until when. But then come the initiative to say that, training must go on, even though during COVID, and a lot of people working from home. And we say that, people working from home, they stay at home, who actually monitoring them. And this is the right time, instead of them doing nothing at home, then you send them for training. Maybe not everybody, but a selected one, I'm sure based on your talent profile, there are people who you want to groom for something, and then send them for that kind of training. So we approach companies, we approach our client and introduce some training modules to them. And very fortunate, we managed to get few jobs, to conduct online training to our clients, be it on the soft skill training, HR training, and using the tools that currently available. Sometimes the creativity of the trainers is important. How you make the training lively. If not, of course, it's going to be boring. People staring in front of their laptop or PC for 8 hours, for example, that is not practical. So you need to have a lot of breakup session, discussion can be done by, breakup group. And then you can give assignment and then get them to do their assignment in a group, and then choose one of them to go and present to the entire group. I mean, it can be done. Nothing to stop, as what you normally done on the face-to-face training. So to me, what is really practical and which we have done it. And then, during the past 7 months or so, I would say we have conducted a lot of online training to our clients. And in fact, next week also, we have a few sessions more to come. And I mean, there is a new normals, the way going forward. Just like, last time we used to go and do shopping, we love to go to supermarket and things like that. But nowadays, people are start doing shopping online, and people are using, all kind of online tools to do shopping. So the new normals have changed the way we do things, the way our life, the way our training is conducted. And with that, I think if we have to relate to HR also, the way how our HR do our function also need to be changed.
So,
People that you want to hire to your organization also need to be changed, not like those traditional way, because you need to, if you want to keep pace to the new normal, the new ways of doing things.
so just wanted to ask Mr. Sai. So
Yeah.
since you see now currently we are having these issues of social distancing and employees cannot attend training, face-to-face training. I mean, if you need to attend also, there's a lot of restrictions and so on. So what kind of technology do you think that companies should invest, so that they can actually solve all these problems? Like for instance, maybe into virtual reality, or they should invest in AI technologies.
AI
So that,
technology.
so maybe you can just elaborate on
Yeah,
that.
I mean there are things which are already in place. If you can see that mobile-based, apps. There are so many mobile-based apps which is free actually, as long as you connect it to your ISP, Internet Service Provider, which has a high speed of internet, and you can have your chat, you can have a video calls, you can have a conferences, as Nazid and Leslie has mentioned earlier. They can have their own apps, or can come up with the HR and as well as the management system, which can link to their server. So most of the servers now they have been cloud-based. It will be a cloud-based server, so they can connect to that and using their mobile apps, they can have those sessions. Even they can be any place, any part of the in Malaysia if they're having sessions. So they can set the schedule, and they can meet up their deadlines. It's very easy. One way, and the other way is like they can also have AI and BI connected to data analytics, and they can use the apps from the third party. There are free apps also available, and they can download. That's called freeware, and they can use those things. And as long as they can be connected, when we're talking about the cloud, there are three types. One is public and private and hybrid. So as long as they have public, it's a free actually. And when it comes to the hybrid and private, they'll be paying for how much they are going to use for the cloud. So it's already there. Most of the organizations already going with that. Even the schools, because of the pandemic, they already transform themselves into a different way. I can see there is a question how it's going to be. So same thing. I know when it comes to the HR management and their policies, as long as you set the policies in place, and whether it's a pandemic or non-pandemic, they'll be following the same system. And you can see the productivity. The product end of the day is the productivity. So you
So,
won't be seeing somebody will be there in the 24 hours. Same goes to the apps when they use it. Technology, the free apps are freeware. So most of the apps are free actually. I'm sure even we're having a Zoom, we're having a WhatsApp video calls, and they have been upgraded. Most of things are free actually. You know. So this is how,
Correct.
as long as you have a high internet connection, ISP, whether it's a Maxis or Celcom, any other provider, the 4G or 5G in place. So you will really enjoy with that, and it's like more user friendly, and everyone can be trained in that way. And you can see that, for example, I can give you example of Coursera. Most of us know about it. Universities from US, UK, Australia. You will be sitting somewhere, and you can register yourself, and you can get certifications. It's
so
as
Mr.
long
Sai,
as it's theory based sessions and all. Practical, there are certain things practically also you can show into that freeware and free technology apps.
maybe Mr. Sai, because we know that you are currently doing your research in IoT.
Yes.
Right. So, how do you think IoT can actually help the industry now.
You won't believe that in future when Mr. Leslie has mentioned that in Japan and Germany, they are already talking about Industry 5.0. 5.0 is nothing about IoT. And when you're coming back to the what you call 5.0, which is called IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things. So which has been basically the sensors will be working with the gadgets and the robotics, which is and talking to the machines, and you will getting the live data to the server through the server, maybe in the cloud or client server, to the person who is holding a mobile. So he can monitor whether he is in Malaysia or any part of the world. He will know exactly what's happening there. So this is how it's going to give more. And in future, it's going to be the cars, your smart homes, and whatever gadgets you are going to, your blood pressure sensors, and even your anything, your body sensors, many sensors they are going to use it. Even when you go for Tesco or just buying some of the items, you will have the sensor base, and you don't require any cashier to be placed there. The moment you have your trolley, the basket, and whatever items you are taking it, the sensor will tell you exactly manufacturing date and expiry date and what amount. And also it will also explain to you, you have your debit card holds 1,000 ringgit, and don't exceed the 1,000 ringgit of your purchase here today. So this is how the moment you walk out, it will be deducted from your wallet. So it's already there in place. For example, now in Singapore, when you drive through Singapore, you don't require, they don't have any payment systems, toll gate systems. It's automatically will be deducted back to the census.
I think
So it's already there.
talking about census, if you don't mind, I think Encik Najid is basically having something to share. I can see his face. Okay, I want to share
Yes,
something
yes, Najib, please.
No, especially
on the census. Yeah.
No, especially during this COVID-19, most of the employee work from home. Some company, I got this group of, in our WhatsApp group, they call it HR Leaders Circle. And we know that, we normally do a survey to say that how many percent of your employee actually work from home. And I can see some of them, even some company, even 100% work from home, but mostly are like, 50%, some 30%. So when people work from home, they must be at the tool that get connected. People need to be connected. So what we have done is, my company, working with a partner, we have come up with something which I want to share with you. If I can share, the PowerPoint slide, and then later maybe Doctor, you want to share the video? Okay, I show the PowerPoint first.
Yeah, you can share.
Share. Are you looking at this? Can you see the video? No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I need to share. Okay. Can you all see here?
Yeah, we are going to see. It shows. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We are looking at it now.
Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
I'm trying to enlarge it. Okay.
Heavy rain at your
Okay.
side, Encik Najid.
Yeah, heavy rain. With lightning.
I can
Okay.
hear.
Just a few slides to share. This is what we are talking about, employee engagement. Because to me, in whatever circumstances, be it COVID or what, employee engagement is that important. So we have come up with a tool, with certain features to highlight. The first one is say that, it has to be the employee engagement work, especially tool that, able to work from home with a mobile browser and friendly, with instant notification push to mobile, which is, everything is monitored and administrated by the company HR, and the full HR employee self-service enabled through mobile. This is a dissemination of important companies' news. So there's a lot of news out there, a lot of fake news also. So whatever the real news that the company want to push through employee, they can share it through this device, and everybody, carrying handphone will be able to receive the same announcement made by the company. Also, any public news, SOPs from the government also can be inserted in the application. It can also be, secure company file repository for employees access. For example, like, the SOP, even the company policy, they can get access from the system. Any events, that you want to conduct e-learning or whatever, and people can register their intention to attend the event also online. And what best is the system will be able to show you who work in office, who work at home. At any point in time, if not, sometimes the manager also not sure whether the employee is now in the office or at home. So everybody with the system, it will tell you where is a person is located now. And of course, with the staff directory. And system also, you can do some kind of survey and analytics, and employee can provide feedbacks. So without further ado, Doctor, if you can share the video.
Sure, no problem. You have to stop sharing from your side, Chinajit.
Okay, let me see how to stop sharing. I'm trying to stop sharing. Okay.
Okay, done. All right.
All right, done. Okay. This is the same video that I just highlight just now.
Okay.
On the PowerPoint.
Okay, so can you see this video? Can you see, Chinajit?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. It was good.
Yeah.
So, Chinajit is not there.
Because we're having, even in my area, we're having severe lightning. We may have to sign off shortly already.
Oh, okay.
Our Wi-Fi may get hit.
Wi-Fi is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's heavy rain that side also.
Yep,
Okay, I
yep.
think maybe the last question, thanks for the video just now. I think it's very useful for us, especially for the HR people. I think this is going to be the future. All right. I think maybe our last question will be on the other side, which is actually looking. We have already spoken about all the positive issues. How about the negative issues? Right. So maybe many of us would like to hear about the negative impact of this technology towards HR. So how much is the impact, and is it going to be very significant? Is it something that we can just ignore, or something that we have to take into consideration? So what do you think, Mr. Leslie? The negative impact of technology towards HR?
Well, thanks, Doctor. Yeah, definitely. Technology would have some negative impacts. For example, definitely there will many employees would actually lose their jobs. That's for sure. It's actually happening worldwide. As shared with you in the airports, supermarkets, and so forth. Even universities will be affected, will be impacted, because and another thing about now we're on 4.0. I think whether Mr. Sai will agree. Actually, 5.0 carries with it a very heavy and dangerous side effect, because 5.0 is it's if we're not mistaken, we call a few hundred times faster than 4.0. So it may actually it may actually affect our brain cells from a health point of view. Mr. Sai, I don't know whether you
Yes, absolutely right. You're right. Anything, any technology, any gadget, anything which we are using, it always will have vibration and side effects to our human cells. And also it is very dangerous, and it leads to more into the cancer based kind of. It's already the survey has been done by the from US and UK based scientists, especially when they do the tests in labs, and they have done the humans with machines, how it's going to give impact. What we are talking about now, the green technology, we will have to go to the green and all these. We are going back again when we're talking about these gadgets and sensors. Of course, each sensor, each gadget, whatever we are using, they are already having kind of vibration and kind of frequency. It definitely will affect not only for our brain cells, in the other part of our body cells.
Yep.
And also it will really happens, it's happening, and it is also in the long term, a long way of looking into the health system. It's going to be numerous health problems may be face, especially psychological effects. I know people already start facing it right now, especially in children, when they start using and addicted of gaming. Before, when we used to be in childhood, we used to go out and sweat ourselves out and we play. I'm
Right, sir.
sure, I'm sure how many children right now is not having that kind of environment. They're just sitting at the house, and our parents are very happy. Look at my son and daughter. They are very much technically. They know how to use the handphone. They are, with a great impact and a great smile. They are telling everyone, but they are not understanding. They are losing a lot of things which they are not supposed to. The age of 8 and 10,
I
and
think
even
Chenajir is
15.
back, I think. Yeah,
Sorry,
Chenajir is back.
it was heavy rain at my place with
Uh,
lightning, so the electric got cut off, so the internet
Oh,
went out.
yeah,
oh my goodness.
yeah. So this is how this is going to be impact in future, and the technology, as you say, that 5.0 is going to be that. And again, when we talking about HR, attitude, how the system is going to evaluate the attitude of an employee. Honestly, it's not the intelligence all about. It's the attitude of an employee that makes the employee to be more loyal and towards the organization, where you're looking for attitude, a positive attitude employees, where they can work for the organization. Most of the organization is become more in higher levels now, if you look at it. But it's not all based of technology and intelligence. But when you put, I mean, keeping in mind analytics and all these, I don't think so. Any HR system can come up with analytics of attitude based. Only they can have a general opinion whether you are getting angry, you are okay, you are not fine, you're taking too many sick leaves. But when in terms of other ethical issues and attitude, it's very tough to evaluate and measure in terms of HR, how he can be given to the grade A, grade B, or grade C.
So, Mr. Leslie, I think when we were talking about the negative impact, so you were talking about physical. Maybe you can continue, Mr. Leslie.
No, perhaps actually what worries our dear President Donald Trump, Huawei, talking about 5.0, it has the capability. I'm not a defense expert or what, but it has the capability without firing a bullet. Technology can actually disable another country's armory. All the digital systems can actually stop functioning. In fact, that's what the Americans did to one or two Iranian what you call military points. But it has its disadvantages as well, and hopefully it doesn't bring us to brink of war worldwide.
So, is it going to affect our HR professionals? So that is basically the question that I think all of us are looking for, because when
Yes.
technology is widely being used in HR, so is it going to be affecting? Is it going to be affecting our HR professionals?
The answer is a definite yes, because what you call as shared jobs. Actually, as we speak, a lot of HR jobs are outsourced. Security, payroll, training. Even some companies virtually outsource the whole HR department.
Yes.
So we have to move in the direction as HR business partners, where we HR professionals act as advisors to the CEO. And HR professionals must not only know HR. Ladies and gentlemen, please equip yourself not only with technology, but a bit with finance as well. Because at the end, what I call CEOs and MDs and business owners like to see the impact into their pockets. So you must have a bit of financial knowledge as well.
I agree with Leslie. This is a very good point. I would like to, sorry, I would like to say here, if you look at the Western countries, Europe and US based companies, when they have HR policies in place, they have their job description. And most of them, they just go with that job description. When look at our ASEAN countries, and what happens, your job description is in place, but the person will be doing the multiple tasks. He will be doing the more and more multiple tasks because the higher level management will be expecting more job to be done while they are in interview time. Whatever they given job description won't be followed by exactly. So this is what's happening. If you survey, look at the survey, even your
Yep.
technology in place, but this particular gentleman will be doing a more job. I'm talking in terms of employees, even whatever we have in place in technology. So do the technology really will go ahead with SOP? What is JD is supposed to? No, not at all. If you look at in Malaysia, especially, I don't want to talk about other countries, ASEAN countries, especially not, I'm talking about comparing with Western and US based. Why other countries can be best, can produce directors and managers, why can't we can produce it? Even we produce a handful of people. I know this is where we can say we expect from our employees more than what the job description is being described in while they're interviewing. So this is what happens. Even you all go to any restaurants, you can see the same person will be cleaning, same person will be serving, same person will be cooking, same person will be taking the cash. That means he's a cashier, he's a server, he is a cleaner. So this is how it is going to be. So how is going to be? This is really going to give a great impact for the HR in terms of policies and process. So once the policies and processes are not in the right place, even you keep a technology in place, how it's going to go with hand to hand? Very simple.
Right.
It's very tough, very tough. So they have to understand the education, the all top level to the all level of management need to understand how the JD should work, how the SOP should work. Then they talk about the technology, what level they can use, what level they should not use at all this technology. This is how the organization will grow. Obviously, definitely it will grow For example, look at the big companies like Microsoft, big companies like Intel Corporation, big companies like Oracle Corporation, big companies like Google, Yahoo, Amazon. Why they are big? Because of how they set the rules and policies and regulations in place intact with the technology and looking at welfare of the employees. That's most important here. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Chan, I cannot hear you. I think you are muting.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think we are towards the end. We have already, I think, completed all the questions that I've wanted to ask four of you all. And let us see whether there's any more questions from the participants. I think there's no more questions. Yeah, if you have any questions, participants, you can always email to me and I can channel to the panelists, right? So that they can answer all your questions. We will do that. And please also do not forget about the pool. Okay, so it is still ongoing. I think many of you all have answered. Okay, some of you all have not answered. Maybe you can just answer. So by the end of this session, I'll be able to share with you what is the results, okay, of all the 8 questions that posted to everyone in this webinar. All right. So I think let us conclude. Let us conclude the whole webinar. Okay, it was a very fruitful session. Okay, I think we managed to get a lot of information, especially on how technology is being a very significant impact towards HR. And there's a lot of technologies available out there which you can actually use it in order to make sure your HR system and also your organization become more effective and also more efficient, right? No doubt in Malaysia itself, okay, we are basically, I would say, we are going towards more technological base, but we are yet to reach that level, right? So I hope that many such sessions will be able to be organized, okay, and we hope to share with you a lot of information, okay, on how HR should take their step forward. So with that, I would like to thank again, okay, all our panelists, Mr. Sai,
Thank you.
okay, from Veritas, Mr. Leslie from MIHRM, and also Mr. Najid from Pillar. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to all the participants. Okay, we hope that those information that we have shared, okay, in this platform can be beneficial for your organization and for you yourself as a HR person, or you can be even an employee or working with any organization. HR information, HR knowledge is for everyone, not just for HR department staffs, right? So with that, thank you very much again. And please do not forget to fill up the survey form. There will be a survey form prompted on your screen later on. Please do fill up the survey form. We would like to know how we can improve further on all our webinars in the future, right? So thanks again. Thanks all the panelists. Okay, see you again and have a nice weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Najid. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sai. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Bye.